Under very firm White House instructions, Israel scaled back their counterattack on Iran. The question is, will that scaled back attack do anything to cause Iran to rethink their aggression against Israel? We're going to talk about it with Claire Lopez. Claire Lopez, Israel was savaged by the biggest single-day rocket attack, maybe in world history, with a combination of rockets, long-range, short-range ballistic missiles, drones, you name it, various numbers in the hundreds launched against Israel. And Israel was able to withstand 99% and fight them off. But what's really weird is afterwards, the White House apparently said to Israel, you can strike back Iran, but it has to be very limited. So Israel apparently called off the big attack that had been planned, and then another big attack that had been planned. And they did a very minor, no one knows exactly how much damage was done to Iran. It's the first time that the two nations have exchanged direct fire from Israel into Iran in retaliation for Iran into Israel. Two questions. How much damage was done to Iran by the very limited pinprick counterattack by Israel? And was a message sent to Iran by Israel? And if so, what?
Well, what I would say first is that the mindset of the current U.S. administration this election year is do anything to avoid escalation. They're petrified of escalation. That message gets through too. But as far as the Israeli return strike, although they have not officially, accepted the responsibility for that, but it's understood that that was an Israeli strike, after 99%, just as you say, Barry, of the ballistic missiles, the cruise missiles, and the drones that Iran and their Houthi allies too launched against Israel, 99% never even made it to Israeli airspace. And a bunch more apparently never even made it out of Iran, but either blew up on the launch pad or fell back into Iranian territory. But so then, following that assault, the weekend of 13-14 April, 2024 here, Israel struck back a few days later. By the way, the date, which was on Friday, the 19th of April, happened to be the birthday of the supreme leader of Iran, the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. But here's why that strike was, yes, minimal and restricted in its scope, but I think important nevertheless. And here's why. The strike was against the air defense system at an airfield that sits between the Iranian nuclear weapons sites of Isfahan, the conversion site, and Natanz, the enrichment site. And right in between, geographically, in the middle, sort of, between them, this air defense system and airfield that Israel struck. So thereby not only destroying the S-300 system that Iran had obtained from Russia, the vaunted S-300 system, was absolutely worthless. It didn't work at all. But the Israelis first had taken out a radar warning site in Syria, even before the attack went, into Iran. And the Israeli Air Force jets, as I understand it, themselves did not enter Iranian airspace, but stood off in Iraq and Syria and launched against this air defense system, which was destroyed without any kind of ability to defend those two nuclear weapon sites. That's the importance of this. Those two important nuclear weapon sites for Iran, the one at Isfahan, the one in Natanz. This was their defense system. It's gone now. And we know it's gone because the satellite photos have been publicized. So I think that's important.
Well, what's the message that Iran got?
The message was, we can enter your airspace, we can take out your air defenses, and we can reach your nuclear weapons sites, and you can't do a thing about it.
Here's a question for your crystal ball. because I don't have a clue about the answer. I agree with what you said. Is it going to change Iranian policy as a result?
It may not. And the reason for that is that this regime in Tehran is ideologically motivated. And if we might recall something way back when the Ayatollah Khomeini was still in power, he said something to the effect, and I might have this a little paraphrase, but this is what he said. He said, "Let this land burn, I say, let this land go up in flames so long as Islam is victorious in the world." Now, if that's their mindset, they do not operate on a rational basis as we of the rest of the world would consider rational, meaning the value of the nation and the people are the highest value above all else, the survival of the nation and the people. But that's not how their leadership thinks. Now, I don't mean the people. The Iranian people obviously do not share this perspective. But the leadership of, the supreme leader, the Ayatollahs around him, the senior leadership there, and as well, the top leadership of the IRGC, Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, and Quds Force, who are very thoroughly vetted to be in those positions, they all hold this viewpoint. So to your question, maybe not. They are driven by ideology. It is doctrinal. Jew hatred is doctrinal for them. And destruction of the Jewish state of Israel is an imperative for this regime.